over 2 pieces of wire that go back to 1930. I can't get service. So build out for your people who do business in the rural areas is very, very important. They want a choice of service. So you can sit there and just say, I want to build out, I want it done in 5 years. No ifs, ands, or buts. No limit to housing or buildings per mile. They've received federal funds to do rural build out. You don't care that it's for this place or not, just demand it. Advertising. I'll leave you this one. This is a business advertising. It says $39.99 per month per service. So we have the business I work at, and we have that. I can't get that service because it's for new business only. I helped Time Warner build their business, but they're not going to offer me that. That's only for new business. Once you become part of Time Warner, you can't get that deal because you're already a Time Warner customer. When they make that trade, it's only for new business. You want to be very cautious of your advertising. One of the things we're talking about amongst ourselves in Rotterdam a bit is just tell me the average price. Don't tell me what the lead-in price is. Give me a menu that makes sense, right? I mean, you don't know when you buy it, it might be $25.99. 2 years from now, it's $75. You're going, what happened? So you want your truth in advertising, full disclosure, should be written into your agreement. You know, it's not like you're asking them for the world. They should tell you what the price of that service agreement is up front, so you know, even if they do what they say, oh, I can't do it, you still want to know your back-end costs. And I would almost say, I want that for all telecommunications, because again, we said, it's not so much a cleaning of things, it's data transfer. This is a hard drive. They should have it for the phone company too. You know, but you can't touch them because they're not part of the way the FCC has divvied this stuff up. But it'd be nice to have truth in advertising for the residents so that they know what the costs are today and what they are tomorrow without a question. You know, cell phone bills are the same way, they're impossible to read. Quality of equipment. You guys are not as close as I am to that place over there at Time Warner to go get this piece of equipment. It's nice, they're open late, you just drive in, you hand it to them, they give you another one. You guys might want to demand, now I'm not seeing it here, but I'm seeing it in Albany. Some of the guys I work with in Albany, they're getting used equipment, and it works for a couple of months, and then you got to go get another one. It's where they happen to live, it's a pain in the neck of a drive, so you got to drive out there when you're not at work to go get this box, to go get another one. Again, you can demand new equipment for your people. Remember, home rule, you guys make the rules, it's your franchise agreement with them. They're starting over new here. You know, build yourself a good foundation. I think that is it. Oh, one last thing is the ENET. This one I need help with, because I don't have access to this. I'm a common citizen. The city of Pittsburgh and Philadelphia has something called ENET. ENET is a municipal network that allows various pieces of government to talk to each other. I have talked to Nick Lateef at SCCC, who's friends with Harry up in Rotterdam. He's one of their network guys. He is willing to help the town of Rotterdam, which means SCC is willing probably to help you guys. Should we acquire this thing called ENET? This should be a county-wide acquisition if at all possible. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to Glenville in time to say, hey, you need to talk about this. But overall, we should start looking at this thing called ENET, because if we can build a municipal network at little or no cost that allows this building to be the same as the Rotterdam's town hall, to be the same as the city's town hall, to be the same as Glenville's town hall, in the event of a disaster, like we saw with the hurricanes down on the river or whatever, we could push anything, anywhere, if we can build this network, so that the fire department can work out of the next fire department. They just pick up their equipment, set it down, plug it in, and it's done. That would be a dream come true for first responders. Something goes wrong at a firehouse, we can move it anywhere. Something goes wrong in a dispatch area, we should be able to move it anywhere. You're talking about your phone system. Voice over IP is now done. When I was working for a company out of Atlanta, we had voice over IP in Atlanta, box sat there. I brought my phone up to Schenectady. You called 707 or 770, whatever the area code was. My phone, I plug into my network in my house, it rings. Nobody knows I'm not in Atlanta. So this ENET thing can be very powerful for stuff like that. When you're a new phone, as you're looking towards a new phone system in the future. You can take your phone home, you don't have to be here in the office. You can serve your citizens better, if your town phone rings at your house with proper networking built in the background. So if you have internet through Time Warner or the other, it just works. So
are we going to get any pushback from Time Warner?
You guys are going to be the first, because in Rotterdam I'm talking to Wayne Collier, him and I are working on it.
They know what it is, right?
They are not gonna know what it is up here, I don't think, because I don't see any of the documents in upstate New York. I'm only seeing it Pittsburgh, well, New York City talks about ENAD. They're, you know, larger cities, but it's out there and it's in everybody's documents. Also, your franchising fee. You understand that that is a tax on the people who buy the service. You can charge whatever you'd like. You're limited to 5%. One of the towns downstate actually takes their franchising fee. They were charging the 5% because they couldn't get the build-out money and they're very rural. They took and said, all right, 50% of our franchising fee that we collect through that 5%, we're going to put it in a special fund for build-out. And every 5 years, they took the check and they wrote it back to the Time Warner, and they built out more. Their current build-out right now is 98%, and all they are is farms. That's how they utilize their franchise fee. You guys might be utilizing it currently as income, I don't know. But definitely take a look at it. You can alter how it's charged. It says it's charged on cable service only, but now that we know that this thing is not like, you know, cable service, it's actually a data service with a hard drive, just like my PC. You could spread your ENET charge over internet, cable service, phone service, because they're all the same thing. They utilize the same data transmission method. Now you can say, well, geez, I can get more people, maybe I can charge 1%. And the more build-out you have, again, the lower it is. So if you can if you can wean yourself of your franchise fee, if you think about it as money that's kind of going to go away, and you're utilizing it for technology in your town, you can eventually go to 0 if you want to. Or you can just keep it at 1%, generate a little bit of funds to do things within town. That's all that thing is it's a pass-through tax that's allowed for it. Understand what it is in the end, you know, it's, the people who have Dish Network don't pay that franchise fee. The people who have Vios, which won't come out here, they wouldn't pay that fee because they're not part of the franchise, unless they're part of they have a franchise agreement. I know that Verizon has some franchise agreements in some of the big cities, but it's very limited as to where they show up. And if you have any questions, you have Wayne, Town of Rotterdam's got my email. I would gladly answer them. You know, I'm only over on Vista Boulevard, so now I'm a long-time resident there. I grew up in Rotterdam, so this area, you know, the Derminskys are my friends for ages. So I would like to see the rural area stay rural, but have the technology of the city in a sense, have the tools of the city.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, sir.
Additional public comment.
Paul Hasbrook, Gifford Church Road. I have no notes to prepare, but I'd like to speak to the board members. You brought up the refinancing of the bonds for the water district. Before you start pumping your chest and patting yourselves on the back, you've given us some numbers, but you also have to realize that there are 3 separate districts. There's a mother district initially, and then 2 more added on. The people in the mother district have paid into that system for a good number of years before those that did not want to join were involved. As time went on, those districts were added on. Now you can stand there and talk about, we'll save $300,000. That's great. If you can do it and keep the same amount of years and time based on each district exactly the same. If you extend 1 minute beyond the initial bond times in the mother district, we're going to fight you on it. I'm not sure you completely understand that. You're talking about the bonds for the districts individually, not collectively. My wife worked extensively for years creating this district. She was involved from the beginning. She knows those numbers from one side to the other. Right now, she's looking at all those numbers. And she will report to this board as to what will be good and will not be good for those members of the district. You also need to be reminded that the district belongs to the people in the districts. There's no one outside of those districts that pay 1 penny into that. We pay for it. We wanted it, we put it in place, we pay for it. So to stand up and bat yourself in the back and say, oh, the town is saving money, you're not saving a dime. We are. It's your interest to look out for our interest. So when you finally come down with some numbers that we can all talk about, I'd like to see them. And my wife is reviewing them, as I said. She knows exactly how that works. She knows the people involved. Mr. Cuevas, you have contacted someone who's an expert at this, I understand.
Fiscal advisor in New York City does.
Yes, and they're very, very good.
Right.
They're the top people in that field. But when the real numbers come out, then you can start talking about it. But for now, naysayers, Lou, you're in that district, aren't you? Several years ago, this wasn't possible. And again, you still have not crossed the threshold of whether this is going to be beneficial for the people in the districts. So until you do, I'd hold off until you know exactly what you got. Thank you.
Additional thoughts, questions, or public comment?
Mary Sue Reed, 962 Darrell Road. Excuse me. During the October 9th, 2012 town board meeting, which I wasn't able to attend, Ms. Carandi, in commenting about the September 20th, 2012 meeting of the Comprehensive Plan Revision Committee, stated that, quote, the Gazette article, which was printed in the paper on the following day, quoted Mary Sue, close quote, and implied that I had made negative comments about the prior committee's members, using the expression slap in the face. Although I attended that meeting, which by the way was open to the public, none of my comments made during the meeting matched what was in the Gazette's editorial piece. Perhaps Ms. Carandi should contact the Gazette editorial board about the source of the editorial, rather than incorrectly identifying the people that provided the material. There have also been negative comments made at several town board meetings about Pat Bishop, the former chair of the Comprehensive Plan Revision Committee, including the suggestion that she shouldn't have been appointed to the committee. These remarks are vague and unsubstantiated, and some are wrong. Per the New York State Town Law, Section 272A, Town Comprehensive Plan, under the law definitions 2C, special board means a board consisting of one or more members of the planning board, and such other members as are appointed by the town board to prepare a proposed comprehensive plan and or an amendment thereto. So there was a very good reason for Pat to be on this committee. Pat was given the unenviable task of bringing together a large and diverse group of people to once again revisit and suggest revisions to the draft comprehensive plan of 2009. She was also given a deadline by the town board of December 31st, 2012. This means that committee members would have had to come to meetings well prepared and ready to discuss particular sections of the draft plan. If even one member is unprepared, this delays the progress of the committee. As an alternate on the Zoning Board of Appeals, I have the responsibility to fully prepare for any zone change application coming before the board. Members are given information in advance of the meeting, and if we have any questions, we contact the chair prior to the meeting. We are expected to be fully prepared and organized. I'm sure that Pat Bishop had the same requirements for the Comprehensive Plan Revision Committee. This saves a great deal of time and allows the meetings to flow more smoothly. Pat is, and has always been, willing and able to assist anyone who has questions or needs more information. She is one of the most approachable and knowledgeable people I know in this town. With the resignation of Pat Bishop from this very important committee, the town has lost a person with a great deal of knowledge, integrity, honesty, objectivity, and the willingness to do what's best for our town. I cannot say the same for those who caused her to resign from this committee. And finally, It's time for the town board to enforce the privileges of the floor rules passed by the town board during the September 11th, 2012 meeting. This includes signing up to speak, addressing the town board from the podium, and observing proper decorum. As with other town board and committee meetings, this will allow meetings to flow more smoothly and avoid interruptions from the audience. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Okay, now I'm going to comment on Mary Sue Reed's comment.
So just formally state
Hold
your
on,
name
let
and
me
your address.
finish. I have an audio from the January 10th meeting, of which Mrs. Bishop had a complete meltdown and attacked Mr. Blessing unnecessarily. Secondly, the meeting that you're referring to, Mary, of the article that was in the paper, quoted you word for word. And I'm going to tell you what else. Mr. Joyce admitted to me that you were...
Stop.
Nope, I am not going to stop. This is my turn.
Go ahead.
Admitted to me that you contacted the Gazette. It was
Lisa,
at that...
Lisa, you addressed the board. You addressed the board.
I am
No,
talking
no.
to the public.
You talking to the
You let
board.
me have my turn. This is public
Okay, you can do it
comment.
another time.
I'm not done, okay? As far as that meeting was public that she's referring to. Let me go on to something else. As far as contacting previous chairperson with her knowledge and her wanting to help other people, please don't make faces, Mike. I don't make faces when you talk.
Go ahead.
Okay, I want the same respect, okay? As far as Mrs. Bishop is concerned, I've been under her wrath, personally, as you well know, as you have witnessed. I have contacted you months and months and months, and your loyalty to her is commendable, okay? But unfortunately, the loyalty should lie here and to the residents, not to Mrs. Bishop. She stepped down, according to you, due to a medical condition, okay? She has not yet apologized for her behavior. She has compromised our committee and the progress that was made in all of that. And I don't think it's right. And I think it's misleading to tell the town residents that that's why she stepped down. On another note, okay, with Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller constantly has things in the paper. We all know where it comes from. We all know he's very good friends with Mr. Hume, okay? The smear tactics that continue, whether it be in a threatening email that I get from you, you know, you want feedback, you get it, and then you don't like it. And then I get threatened in the meantime because of it. You're the one that got me involved in this. Okay, I was very happy sitting home watching this on TV. You got me in it, I'm in it, okay? As far as saving money, Mr. Miller was boasting about spending $20,000 to pursue Judge Van Wert in prosecuting her. I don't think it's anything to boast about. I think it was a waste of money for this town to spend $20,000 on that unnecessarily. Mr. Miller's had 3 unsuccessful runs for office. The only way that he could get here is to get you elected. Mr. Miller has a, let's say, history's repeating itself. Because the tactics that he's using now are the same ones that he used back in Altamont, of which anyone can go on the website and queue up these articles of the treatment that he did to Mr. Northwood. And he's using the same tactics now that he used with him back then against Judge Van Wert. And he's constantly throwing things against the wall to get them to stick, and it's not right. And I can't believe that this board is allowing this to continue. And if anybody would like to hear the audio, you're more than welcome to it from the January 10th meeting where Mr. Blessing was attacked for speaking his concerns.
wasn't gonna say anything. I'm glad I did.
Michelle Van Wert, the town justice, and I am here for tonight as a town justice, so nobody will mistake about that. I agree with Mr. Blessing regarding the Ellie Hansen letter to him. And I'm most concerned about the ethical and possible criminal issue here. We have a long-standing resident of the town sending our supervisor an email with his concerns. Instead of the supervisor responding to Mr. Blessing, he forwards the email to someone. That someone, whether it's a Miss Ellie Hansen, a Miss Rita Madison, or a Roger Doyle, we know none of those people exist. They are fictitious people, and behind that fiction is Norman Miller. More importantly, why the supervisor is sharing his emails with the deputy supervisor so Mr. Miller can then become one of his alter ego aliases. His accusation that I am stealing, can quote, "the judge is stealing," or Ellie Hansen's quote, "the judge is stealing," is a lie. Since we've had yearly audits by this town board and other town boards, there have been no discrepancies, so I don't know where that information comes from, and I would like an answer from this town board if they feel I'm stealing, where that information may come from. Also, in early 2012, an independent auditor was here from the comptroller's office, and to date, we have not heard anything regarding any theft of money. I said this once before at a town board meeting, so I would like to say it again, that in over 27 years that I've worked for the town of Princetown, there's never been a lost, stolen, taken funds from any deposits ever. And I'm going to reiterate that again. So I don't understand why anyone would allow an email or any documents to promote unethical, slanderous, libelous behaviors take place. And why would anyone not have the best interest of the town here? This town board should have the best interest of the town. And I think our supervisor should look at that unethical behavior on the part of the deputy supervisor. Let's not try to get this town board manipulated by one person. Do your job. He shouldn't be here. As Lisa said, he tried 3 times to get here, and the only way he got here is through an appointment. And he's creating this town to split. He is creating havoc in this town. He's killed a man. If you want to say it that way, he certainly, the poor man never even had a chance to
Probably want to be
defend
careful on
himself.
that.
Pardon?
So you probably want to be careful on that.
She can speak.
I understand.
Doesn't need your advice.